Did you wish you learned more about money growing up? I think it's safe to say that many of us would probably say yes to that question. Financial literacy is such an important topic because money is a big part of our lives. Of course, talking about money is never easy. There's a lot of stigma around it, and the lack of formal education can make us doubt and fear it. Our economic and monetary system is also pretty complex. So in this video, we are going to walk through some rules to start the money conversations with your kids, no matter your money knowledge and no matter how old your kids are. It's more important now, more than ever, to have these conversations early and often as the sphere of influence for our kids has widened. Social media and personal devices have meant that each of us sees different information and different content on a daily basis. This means our kids are learning things differently. We need to teach our kids to parse the information that is out there from fact and fiction so they can manage their money well today and tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining me today. My name is Catherine Agupchan. I'm a financial educator, and here at Sisters for Fi, we talk about personal finance, minimalism, sustainability, and motherhood. Because at the intersection of all of those is a life where you can build impact for yourself, your family, and your community. Now, when we have these money conversations about money with our children, the goal is not to pass down stress or uncertainty, but to pass down some of our family values and an understanding of how things work and how money can play a role in the lives that we want to live. The first tip when you're about to have the money conversation is to actually start the conversation earlier than you normally would. I have a 3-year-old, and one of the biggest things I've learned is that she absorbs so much information. Her mind is a sponge, and she is connecting the dots very, very quickly. Kids are paying attention to our words and our actions, so it's good to start these money conversations early. While little kids won't be able to understand economic terms and topics, they're already learning concepts like delayed gratification, negotiation, value, and trade off. I know you've been there as a parent when you are negotiating with your child, when you are teaching them that they can either get one thing or the other. These conversations are about money, and these conversations are about values. Now, money conversations don't present themselves in a nice little box, so it's good to pay attention to moments where you may be able to teach kids these money lessons. I totally get it though. We are all busy people with busy lives, and sometimes these teachable moments pass us by. But by taking the time to listen to the questions our kids are asking about money, we can create these teachable opportunities. The conversations we have about money are sometimes not even about money. It's really all about our family values. What is our family, your family, prioritizing right now? Why are you buying certain things and forgoing others? So when you have these opportunities, don't just focus on money conversations with dollars and cents, but also focus on the values that you want to instill with your children. Kids are watching our every move, and they learn by observing. So it's critical that we watch our own actions and our own language when it comes to money. The way we spend, the way we talk about money, we have to get honest with what our money hangups are, what our money mindset is, and if we are passing that along to our kids. Some of us, unfortunately, may come from families with negative money habits and mindsets, and we may find that the values we had growing up no longer serve us in this season of our lives. So it's important to reflect and identify where we might need to work on some of that money mindset and habits. Unfortunately, it's very easy to perpetuate bad money habits and pass that along to our children. So, if you want to break that cycle of fear, doubt, and stress about money, now is the time to really look at the way you use money, the way you treat money, the way you speak about money, and figure out ways to change those actions. There are now so many resources available to get our finances in order, and taking care of our finances as a parent has a positive trickle down effect on our kids. I know that for me, I have been personally trying to be more mindful about spending money on frivolous things. Each time I buy something and excitedly open a package, I signal to my 3-year-old that happiness comes from spending money. And while there are certain areas where spending on key things will increase your happiness, sometimes just accumulating stuff doesn't do that, and it can lead to debt or other money stresses. So, what I've been trying to do is to create this list of needs and wants that she sees and it's visible to her so that we can review it together and we can prioritize what we should buy. This is both a lesson for her as well as for me, and as a way for us to also instill some of our family values and how we use money against those values. So, a big question you might ask yourself is, what do I teach my children? What is age appropriate when it comes to money lessons? Now, this really depends on your family. One way to do this is to really observe what your kids are into. What kind of questions are they asking? Are they curious about the bills? Are they looking to understand why they didn't receive a gift? Are they looking to understand where money comes from? A lot of this is really listening to the questions they're asking and figuring out ways to answer them in a way that's honest, but also provides perspective on how things work. When answering these questions about money, be honest, but seek out ways to make the lessons more tangible. If they're asking about bills, maybe pull out one of your electricity bills, review it together, and see if you can find ways to reduce it for next month. If they're constantly asking for things, create a visible shopping list, figure out needs and wants, and prioritize. If they are asking about how money works, might be good to get some cash and use cash the next time you pay for things so that they understand that when you buy a product, you must exchange something for it. Don't get too hung up on the perfect money lesson. Chances are you will be teaching these lessons over and over again so that they understand the various scenarios in which money can work for them. In the end, the goal is not to pass down the stress or uncertainty of money. Remember that money is just a tool, but an understanding of how money works. Our money system is very unique and it can be complicated, so teaching them small lessons over time can help them understand the bigger picture of how things work. It's sometimes helpful to grab a book or two from the library and read stories relating to money. This might be stories about kids opening up their first lemonade stand, maybe getting their first piggy bank, or getting their first allowance. This is all about learning together and sharing that aspect. If you want more ways to teach your kids about money, there's a great book I would recommend. It's called Make Your Kids a Money Genius, Even If You're Not, by Beth Kobliner. And it has many ideas on the kinds of lessons you can teach your kids about money. Each chapter is devoted to a key area in personal finance, like savings, debt and investment, to insurance. And she provides a breakdown of how to teach the concepts for preschoolers, elementary students, middle schoolers, high schoolers, college, and adulthood. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau also provides age appropriate lessons that you can follow along. The links to the book as well as the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau's lessons are in the description, so check it out and download the lessons that you need. And of course, here at Sisters for Fi, we have our own teaching tool. It is this piggy bank and a book that teaches kids the concept of the piggy bank and of the act of saving. It's available on Etsy, and I will leave the links in the description for you to check out and read some of our positive 5-star reviews. And remember that we don't have to be money geniuses to pass on money knowledge. The next tip is to share some of your money stories. I love learning about my parents through the stories they share. The experiences they had as immigrants, navigating a different culture, a different monetary system, and a new language has provided me a whole new perspective of the challenges they faced. It has also made me more appreciative of what it took for them to achieve the life they've built. Money was a big factor in building out those opportunities. Stories are also a bit more relatable than lectures or just facts about money. Kids want to hear stories, and it's just more exciting. And it's also possible to share positive as well as negative money lessons in the stories. Of course, you don't have to share every detail of your money blunders or mistakes, but sharing some of those can provide perspective as well as lessons for your children. I hope this video has been helpful so far. Give it a like and share it with a friend, a spouse, or a family member who might need these tips to start the money conversations. And consider subscribing to Sisters for Fi, where we talk about personal finance, money, minimalism, sustainability, and motherhood. When having these money conversations, it's also good to keep in mind that if a money fight or a very worried money discussion is about to occur, is to stop yourself and put yourself behind closed doors. If you and your spouse tend to have money fights and money discussions in front of your children, it can lead to your children feeling stress, uncertainty, and doubt. So while we want to have honest, open conversations about money with our children, they do not need to know everything. For hard discussions, keep those behind closed doors and have those teachable moments out in the open and in the moment. It's okay to say to your kids that at this time, we don't have an answer for you yet with regards to a money question or topic, but your dad and I, your mom and I will discuss it later and come back to you with an answer. It's okay to pause. It just provides them a perspective that there's certain things that we need to discuss and that we don't necessarily have an answer for, but we will in the next few days or so as we discuss it further inside our family. As a parent, the big thing that you will probably decide on and discuss with your partner is this concept of allowance. Do your kids get one? What are the terms? And there are going to be multiple camps whether an allowance is good or bad, and you have to decide for your family what that means. But a big thing to remember is that giving your kids an allowance won't automatically make them money smart. Investing for their future without teaching them about money won't ensure they'll be wealthy. We need to instill in our kids that having money doesn't always equal positive money management skills. And good money management skills require time, effort, trial, and error. Teaching money management skills has to be intentional and deliberate. So these money conversations do have to start early. And when you do dole out money, there's also needs to be some lessons as well as instructions on how to use that money well. Will your kids leave your house with full financial knowledge? Probably not, but at least they'll know the basics, they'll have the foundation, and at least they know that they can always come to you if they have questions or to get some guidance, and that can provide a big peace of mind for themselves as well as for you too. The next thing I want you to be conscious of as you start these money conversations at home is to really consider if you are teaching boys and girls differently. So unfortunately, girls and women continue to be affected by the money knowledge gap. Although it's changing and there are now more resources to help reduce that gap, a gap still exists. Boys are taught to build, take risks, and invest and be vocal about money, while girls are taught to shop, be quiet, budget, and let men handle the finances. Even now, some of the investing content is geared toward men, while budgeting is geared towards women. So it's critical that we just be mindful of what we teach our kids. Now, I grew up in a household with other sisters, so our parents did not have to change the way they spoke to us about money. We all had the same responsibilities, same set of chores, and same money lessons. As you are having these money conversations and teaching your children about money, see if you are treating your daughters and your sons differently, because that will affect the way they manage money in the future. And lastly, watch your influencers. As parents, we have a responsibility to keep an eye out on what our children are exposed to. And that also means being careful with who influences their money habits and mindset. Now, school, social media, peers, and parents all play a role in the kinds of money lessons we teach our kids. While some states are making it a requirement to teach a personal finance class, this class will never be as comprehensive as learning about money and their management skills while living under your house. Social media is also now filled with short clips of digestible money advice, but that may not be a substitute for learning in depth about personal finance. There's also so much nuance when it comes to finances, and oftentimes, what kicks up the algorithm may not be the best lesson for your young child. Peers are also a big factor when it comes to influences. It might be good to check once in a while where some of your kids' friends' money is coming from. Are they earning it? Are they getting it from parents? And what are they spending their money on? An important money lesson that might come up is actually the fact that some of your kids' friends may have more than your kid or may have less than your kid. So it's good to check once in a while who is influencing your kids' money habits. A combination of social media, your own household, peers will create this sphere of influence, and we just want to be mindful of how those habits and mindsets are forming now. So, in the end, money is in everyone's future. We sometimes think of money as good or bad, but it is just a tool. And like anything else, we need to teach our kids how to use the tool and acquire the skills to handle it properly. That talking about money is a lifelong enterprise. It happens when our kids are at home, it happens when they leave the house, and it happens when we all get older. So we need to start being comfortable with these money conversations. Talking about money also means talking about your family values. So revisit your family values and see if that's in line with how you're spending money, how you're teaching about money, and how you're using money for yourself, for your family, and your community. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you next week for the next video. Bye!